I just wanted to get back online.
Erik always wants to be online. He's an internet addict. The 20-year-old spends lots of time playing computer games and in social networks. He realized that himself, and now he wants to end his addiction. But he knows that to do that, he'll need help. Erik is on his way to his computer.
So, hier sind quasi.
Here is the monitor.
Hier ist quasi Monitor und das
And
Zubehör.
that's the equipment for the computer.
Here
is the keyboard.
Tastatur. Hier ist noch
Here's a drawing tablet.
Der Monitor,
The monitor is here.
Hier sind
Here is
die
all the
ganzen
stuff.
Maus, Kabel,
Mouse cables, webcam, all the extra stuff.
Also dieser kleine Kram.
And how do you cope with all this being here?
Ja, also ich muss ganz ehrlich
To be
sagen,
honest, the moment I brought it all into the cellar, it was as if a tremendous weight fell from my shoulders.
ist eigentlich
Sure, sometimes I miss it and would like to get back online. But on the whole, it feels good.
gern mal ran, aber alles in allem fühlt sich das gut an.
Maybe he's painting too rosy a picture, because even if his own PC is out of range, Erik easily finds ways to surf the internet elsewhere.
Kramkiste.
And then there's always his smartphone.
Und das benutze
I
ich
use it only when I urgently need it, so it's usually here.
aber das liegt
But
halt
that's the
meistens-
danger. How do you define urgent?
wie man definiert, was dringend ist.
So how often do you urgently need it?
Also
I
wirklich
urgently need it really maybe once a week, but I use it every few days. That's the crux of the problem.
How do you find that?
nicht
Not so good.
nicht zufrieden mit.
Erik is moving from the digital to the analog world, from the drawing tablet to paper and pencil. He draws comics. The main thing, don't think about video games. When his computer was still on his desk, Erik was often online, day and night. He lives alone, with no one to interrupt him.
Mein Rekord war 20 Stunden.
My record was 20 hours without a break.
Also so mal
Okay,
aufs Klo gehen
to
oder
go to the toilet or prepare food, but I ate in front of the computer.
ja. Es fing dann
I started in the morning and continued until late in the night.
spät bis in die
Well,
Nacht rein.
actually, till the next morning.
Also fast bis zum nächsten Morgen eigentlich.
But in that situation, you thought that was okay, otherwise you wouldn't have done it, right?
Nee, das war schon
No, I had already started to ask myself whether it was really okay. And then I realized what I'm doing here will turn out badly. I have to change something. But I don't have the strength to get out of this by myself and to shut this off. That was the point where I realized I have to get help or I'll go down the drain.
Sonst gehe ich vor die Hunde.
Erik sought help at a counseling center for online addicts. Usually all the seats here are occupied. But the other internet junkies didn't want to appear on camera.
Zu Hause hatte ich viel Stress mit meiner Mutter.
At home, I had a lot of stress with my mother, and I moved out early at just 15. At school, they used to tease me and bug me. It was horrible for me.
War halt immer total
And when I came home,
furchtbar.
there was the PC.
Und immer wenn ich nach Hause kam, war halt der PC da. Und
I played.
dann habe ich halt
It was a way of escaping.
Das war wie
All the
weg, so.
unpleasant feelings were suppressed, and it gradually turned into a habit.
Waren halt unterdrückt. Und das war dann irgendwann so eine Gewohnheit.
Ja. Also das heißt,
Well, that means it had a positive effect for you at that time. You just felt better because of it.
dass es dir einfach da dann auch besser ging.
Ja, das war halt immer so.
I always looked forward to it. In the morning, I felt, ugh, got to go to school. At school, I always thought, just a few more hours and I can go home and play. That kept me going through the day.
These days, Erik has lots of time. He quit school and broke off his volunteer year working for ecology just to keep playing. Even though he now looks for ways to distract himself from his craving for the internet, Erik is still far from clean.
Sorry, ist nur ein bisschen...
He still visits his buddies just to check his emails.
Okay, then, let's start.
This is Benny. They've known each other for years. The problem is, Benny is a big fan of computer games, and that gets Erik gushing again too.
Kümmert sich dann Arbeit oder geht schlafen oder geht noch mal mit Kumpels raus, Freunden raus, fertig.
Stell dir vor, wie so ein...
Imagine a marketplace like eBay or Amazon. At Steam, you can buy games that you store on your Steam account.
Und bei Steam
You
kann
no
man
longer have them physically on a CD. They're stored online in a
Spiele
library.
werden halt auch auf diesem Steam-Account, den du hast, gespeichert.
And you can access them from any computer, not just at home. If you have a computer elsewhere, you can install games from your account.
Von allen Rechnern drauf zugreifen, musst nicht immer zu Hause.
That makes it more practical.
Wenn du woanders einen Rechner hast, kannst du die Spiele von
And
da
over the years, I've assembled quite a collection of games. It must be 40 of them. So I'm sure I must have put 200 or 300 euros into the games.
200-300 Euro, die drin steckt von mir.
So it's not just the addiction itself. It's also the expense, which can ruin you.
Ich habe auch einen Brief aus der Schweiz bekommen.
Here an update, there a new game. The outlays pile up.
Aber wenn ich das
I
jetzt
estimate I've spent about 1,000 euros. Or maybe more?
mehr als 1000?
More. Every add-on cost about another 50 euros, and one comes out every year.
But not 1,500 euros.
It could be. 1,000 for sure. With that sort of money, you could get a driver's license.
It sure must be a good computer game.
Ja, World of Warcraft 8.
But it's not just computer games. Erik also spends a lot of time on social networks and video portals.
YouTube is one of my weaknesses, definitely. You can watch it anywhere, in the library, in an internet cafe, with friends. Just click on a video. It's terrible.
You asked me not to send you any more.
You click on a video and see 10 others on the suggestion list, and you click on the next one, and then the next. And soon you've lost 2 hours.
Erik is in therapy. What do you think about that?
Really? You're in therapy? You never told me.
Well, I am.
Well, that's definitely a good idea. But to be honest, you told me you wanted to stop using a PC altogether. And that makes no sense. I mean, you have to see the difference between leisure and work. When you want to apply for a job, you have to sit in front of a computer to write your application. You can't submit one that's written by hand like my grandmother did in the 1950s.
But Erik still disagrees with Benny and the tendency of the times. And when he draws his comics, he even manages to distract a few boys away from their smartphones.
Ja, okay, bis dann. Nice. Ciao.
Show me your cell phone.
Hier.
Here, it's a bit of a dinosaur, but I'm very happy with it.
Aber ich bin sehr zufrieden damit.
And what do you think about everyone else, especially young people walking around with a smartphone?
Ja, also ich bin ja meins von
I got rid of mine a year ago, and I've never regretted it. It's overwhelming how things are today. Everyone has one. I'm really glad I'm not 5 years younger, because then the temptation would be even greater. You can't escape it anymore.
Erik wants to withdraw from his addiction. He's serious about therapy and goes to an addiction clinic, stationary treatment, group therapy, individual talks. Cameras aren't allowed. He's released as cured 2.5 months later.
Hi.
How was it?
Ja,
It was great. I already miss my fellow patients.
Also, das habe ich in der
I drew this in occupational therapy. It shows the contrast between the mask I show to other people and my inner life, which I try to hide.
Und meinem Innenleben, das ich versuche zu
I had to
verbergen.
delve into the difference.
Und ich musste mich jetzt viel mit denen auseinandersetzen.
Since I've started doing this, I have the feeling that I don't need my PC anymore.
Ja. Aber klar, es ist
But of course, it's not easy.
nicht so leicht. Ich muss
I have to learn to be more honest with myself. but I want to.
Aber das möchte ich auch. Ich habe gemerkt,
I've realized I feel a lot better when I own up to myself.
es war auch ziemlich,
Sometimes it was very intense.
war auch
I
ziemlich
cried.
heftig teilweise, dass
I hadn't done that in a long time.
ich habe geweint, was ich lange nicht mehr getan habe so. Und
And why?
das war eines Abends, als mir dann alles zu
One
viel war,
evening
so
it was
als-
all
als
too
das
much for
wieder
me.
hochkam, was ich so
Everything I
verdrängt
had
habe.
repressed for so long, the reasons I always played online,
Ja,
it surfaced
kann ich dann
again.
irgendwann wieder zulassen, was gut
I
ist,
couldn't
aber
go
irgendwann
back to
war es
that
dann
again.
viel Und,
But at this moment it was all so much and it all came out.
es fühlt sich komisch an immer noch.
It still
Also ich
feels
fühle mich
funny. I
irgendwie
feel kind of
nackt,
naked
im
in
Vergleich zu
comparison with before.
vorher. Aber jetzt habe ich
But
das
I no
Gefühl,
longer
ich
feel
habe
this
nicht mehr
inner
diesen
pressure. I don't feel as if I
Druck,
need
so,
this
als brauche ich das
distraction,
nicht mehr so dringend,
this
diese
desperate
Ablenkung, dieses
playing.
Zocken. Ja.
Eric has accomplished a lot and exposed his innermost self, but he knows he has to continue working on himself. So what's your plan now?
Na, also ich möchte mich
I want
noch
to get to
besser
know
kennenlernen.
myself
Deswegen
better,
hatte ich
so
vor
I'm
2
going to
Wochen
go to a
buddhistisches
Buddhist
Kloster
monastery
gehen,
for
freue ich
2
mich
weeks.
drauf. Danach
I'm
werde ich
looking
gucken,
forward to
also
it.
ich würde halt
Then I'll see.
gern soziale
I'd like
Arbeit
to study
studieren.
social work.
Und da muss ich gucken, ob
And I
ich
have to see
vorher,
whether I resume my volunteer work year and find another way of
irgendwie
finishing
anderweitig
vocational high
anfange,
school.
aber das ist so meine Idee
That's
erstmal.
my idea for now.
And the computer will stay in the cellar?
Nicht ganz, weil
Not completely.
ich beschlossen,
I've decided
so
to
ein bisschen zu
distribute
verteilen.
its
Also,
parts.
mein bester
My best friend
kriegt
gets
jetzt
the
einen
monitor, another friend
eine
gets the
andere
drawing
Freundin kriegt mein
tablet.
Zeichentablet
I'm going to give it all away.
Das heißt, der wird jetzt so ein bisschen unter die Leute gebracht.
Okay. Good luck.
Vielen
Thank
Dank.
you.